Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers Power of the Primes Volcanicus, the combined form of the Dinobots. So here they all are. Here are all the individual pieces, and if you'll give me a moment, I'm going to get them ready to be combined into Volcanicus. And now the Dinobots are in their combined form, so as we can get them combined. We're not going over their transformations into these forms because I already did those and their individual reviews. You can check those out in the description below. I'll make sure to leave links down there for that. But I just wanted to stop at this point so as I can show you how to actually connect them, since I haven't done that in their individual reviews. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Grimlock here, and just so as you know, these are all in their configurations as suggested by the instructions, with Swoop being Volcanicus' right arm, Slug being the left, Sludge being the right leg, and Snarl being the left leg. So, to get them combined, you got the combiner post right here, and all you need to do is, you see this gap right here with this sliding function, you just need to get it inside, and then the slide bit will go over and make sure that is locked into place, and all you need to do to undo it is to just pull the tab up, this panel up, and then you can just slide the limb right out, but we don't need that right now, so we're just gonna slide that in, put it right in, slide in Snarl, put that in, raise the camera, because Volcanicus is a tall drink of water, obviously, as a combiner. Swoop, slides in there, and Slug slides in there, and here you have Volcanicus combined. And biggest complaint that most people have made, this is such a weird gap right here. It's just a weird combination of the shoulders being so wide and as well as the waist being so thin that he's just got a pretty large gap going on here. But you do, because instead of the combiners and the combiner limbs, the deluxes, instead of how it was in the combiner wars, where they each came with an extra piece that became a hand or a foot, and now they're just coming with the dedicated hand pieces, with the Voyagers coming with dedicated foot parts. That means you have two leftover hands to use, and you can use them in the combined configuration in two ways. The main way is, well, seemingly the main way, since all the other Voyagers don't have the alternate method of use, but what you can do is you can stick them into the heels using the 5mm hole in the back to create extra heels to create better back support. But that is not how you're going to use them right now, because this is a thing that's only a thing on Grimlock, and that is that there's going to be, let's lift Swoop up so as we can see, this hole right here, basically right under the armpit. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the 5mm post and of the Prime Armor, Deluxe Prime Armor, stick it in there, just fold the thumb up. Do that on the other side. Have the tab like so. Stick it in there. That one went in pretty easy. And then they can be used to fill up the gaps on Volcanicus' chest. And while that does certainly help, it from certain angles, it is annoying that it doesn't particularly mesh well with the rest of the colors. I mean, it's black, but like it'd probably be preferred if like they were like silver and gold, maybe a bit of red, and also that this is the only combiner torso that has this possibility for the hands to be used, because the designers were like, wow, Grimlock's really thin, we need to beef that up, let's use the hands and beef up the chest like that. And I'm like, the Starscream doesn't have that, and from what we've seen, because they've been coming out, as far as I know, Legion 1 and Hunger are the Voyager torsos for Wave 2, and they do not have this functionality. So it's clear the designers were aware Grimlock looked thin, but didn't, had to, either didn't have time to change it, didn't want to change it, or whatever, didn't have, or whatever. Not saying it's their fault, but obviously if they knew it was a problem, I wish they could have fixed it. And especially since, as you can see, it doesn't particularly, it leaves a fair amount of gaps, but I'll just leave them in there for now. And then I'll show off an alternate configuration a bit later. But in terms of accessories, we also do have the Dinobot Enigma from Grimlock, and you are capable of sticking it on Volcanicus' chest. All you have to do is open up the Dynomouth, tab that into the mouth, and you can also have that rocking on there. It's acceptable. Like, it does make the head stick very far out of the chest, so I do prefer not to have that, so I'll just leave that off and just fold that down, and that looks like a very like condensed chest. Obviously there is some gappage, but it's not as bad as with the Enigma piece inside. And now let's go over just the full articulation of this guy. We've got 360-degree rotation at the head, no up and down. Unfortunately, technically you can do down if you use the transformation. And I guess you can do up if you use the transformation as well, just moving this red panel out of the way so as you can actually get the head to look up, but then you're going to bring up that gray piece in the front. So technically there's not, but if you want to finagle a way to give him head articulation, you can. Arms, they have their very solid ratchets that I just pulled out of the socket. These are, yeah, there we go. 360-degree rotation going on there. Legs falling apart. Legs falling apart. 360-degree rotation at the waist of the mode, but for this configuration, it's the upper arm swivel, and then you get a 90-degree bend, and then you get another 90-degree bend. But because of the kibble, there it gets into problems. Hands, they swivel. They have ball jointed thumbs, and the hands can bend in that far and out that far. And legs, I'm gonna see if I can get Slug out of the way without undoing everything. Yeah, there we go. Legs, if you move this panel up, you can get the legs to bend that far forward and that far back, very far back. I'm surprised that's not on a stronger sounding ratchet. Like, you can, the outward movement there is pretty darn strong, but the back and forward does not sound so strong. You can strain the legs out that far. I'm presuming if you get rid of this piece, you can get it out even further, but they are in the way. Let's see about that. Yep, you can get them to go all the way out if you do not have the prime armor making up some of the chest. Let me just strain these legs out now because I got them gucked up. There is not really a dedicated place for the Grimlock's legs to be positioned at for the combined form, so you can make it as wide or as narrow of a thigh gap as possible. I guess it'd be called a thigh gap. But continuing on, we do have the 90-degree knee bend as well as the 360-degree rotation. Obviously, Kibble-licious
as these limbs are, there can be problems getting the full 360 degrees, so you'll probably just have to work around some things. And then the feet can rotate a full 360 degrees, and they can ratchet side to side for some ankle tilt. Now, after going over the articulation, you can see where problems are arising. Slugs, at the very least, Slug's ratchet is so tight that he's popping out of the combiner socket before he rotates some of the time. Also, his legs don't want to stay together if you move him too much. However, Swoop, I didn't even touch Swoop, and you can see that his legs have split apart a fair number of times during this video already. So Swoop needs some help to keep his arm mode into place. Sludge and Snarl are doing very well as legs and doing leg support, and obviously they are also doing fine without needing the deluxe prime armor pieces to make up extra heals to keep this guy standing upward. Very solid. No, he does not come with any accessories that he can that he is designed to hold. He's got the 5mm posts in his hands that clearly allow him to hold weapons, but he just doesn't come with anything unless you want to give him like a tiny knife or a tiny gun. Out of the Dinobots, you don't have anything to have him hold. So that's a little unfortunate, but the Earth Wars video game, mobile game, does suggest that his weapon, you could take Fall of Cybertron Grimlock's sword and use that as Volcanicus's main weapon. So if you have that toy, you could do that. Unfortunately, while I do own the toy, it is not with me, so I cannot show that off. So with all that being said, just another quick around. I've already discussed in detail how these guys look in their individual forms. So just showing you how that all looks together. I honestly think that looks in terms of cohesion, it looks very solid. Like you do get a little bits of extra color, like there's a bit of blue going on with Swoop, a little bit more gold going on with Snarl down there, but you know, it all looks and comes together into a very solid looking, very solid and cohesive looking combiner, if the combined mode itself is not 110% solid. But now let's get into a size comparison for them. Here's Volcanicus next to Legends Class Bumblebee, Deluxe Class Chrome Dome, Voyager Class Megatron, Leader Class Six Shot, and the channel's mascots, Soundwave, and Wheeljack, if Wheeljack would like to stand today. Put your wing down, Laserbeak. There we go. Nice. Size comparisons. Normally that would be the end of my review, but I'm going to do something that I normally have not done, and that's discuss fan mode for Volcanicus. It's just to make him better, in my opinion. And I do this because I do really think it helps Volcanicus a lot, and it also allows you to integrate Slash into the combined form. So I'm just going to show this off and take you through the steps of how to do it. Firstly, we're going to undo the prime armor from the sides of Volcanicus, since part of this is making that gap less noticeable. However, what we are going to need to do because of this configuration is insert the feet into the heels, the prime armor into the feet, because this this configuration is based on a configuration by Fanbuster on Twitter. Fanbuster some number, I can't remember off the top of my head. They also go by Ariel Lemons. That's that. And the configuration has slash going on the back and pushing the arms a little bit back, so that does make Grimlock a bit more top and back heavy. So you do, in this configuration, require the prime armor as the heel configuration to give the necessary back support. So what we are going to do is we're going to take these panels and we're going to lift them up and have them untabbed from there. And we're going to untab Grimlock's forearms and rotate them to the back like so. So you can see this one's like this one's like that. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. Like so. And then we're going to get Slash. She's just kind of, there's not a whole lot of space on Grimlock's back to accommodate her, so you just kind of gotta finagle with her and not knock her foot off when you're trying to show your YouTube audience how to make this configuration. So for the most part, it's not necessary for like the parts go, but the main things that need to happen are to be the arms to be oriented as such, because what's going to happen is the 5mm holes in her hands are going to go fit the posts that are on Grimlock's robot arms. So you're just going to take them and tab them in and tab them in, and you can just like fold Slash's legs down, fold these panels back down, and just rotate some things. If you want the tail up, or if you want a tail hanging off Volcanicus's back, it's all up to you. And then you just gotta strain some things out. Just get yourself into the ideal position that you would want for this, and especially because this configuration, you can get this to be a bit more straighter, but the best way I figured out to make sure this stays stable is you are going to have the combiner ports facing at the main combiner ports for the limbs to be facing at an angle. So what you're going to do, so just to make sure it looks straight, is you're just going to rotate the arm swivel just to make the lower limbs more facing forward, and that'll help. You do have to finagle it a little bit, and these panels are, since they're not tabbed in and these tabs kind of stick out, you're going to have to finagle quite a bit to like make sure they are not going to be popping up on you. But it's really hard because, again, this is a fan configuration, and this is not really, there's not dedicated engineering for this. So you do get a shoulder sticking up, you do get a Slash hanging out on the back, and Grimlock looking like he is going to topple over a bit, but shoulders come in a bit more, and it makes the gap down here a little less obvious. You can do this in a few different ways, but this is my preferred way of displaying the entirety of Volcanicus with Slash. Just making it up. Again, not very stable. If you do try messing with it, it is going to come apart, so this is not particularly a solid configuration for playing around with. But this is just something I wanted to talk about and mention. I do like it, and I do realize now that like Slash and Slug are not even. Like I said, this does require some finagling to get to be even. But you can do it. You can get it to work. It's just patience and time and making everything balanced properly. But again, that's how I prefer displaying my Volcanicus. If that's the unofficial configuration, but how I like to do it. But now let's get into my overall opinion on Volcanicus. I know a lot of people are not pleased that the Dinobots combine. They're like, why do the Dinobots need to combine? But I did as a kid. I could say I was a kid. I did wonder why the Dinobots never combined. I wasn't there in the 80s, so I didn't know the Dinobots first before the combiners. It was like, they're a 5-member team. Why can't they combine? And I'm kind of pleased to see that realized. I do kind of wish the Grimlock torso was a little bit better in terms of like the proportioning of everything. Like seeing how everything transforms, I can understand why. But the biggest thing is like the gaps in the hips. And again, that isn't helped by the very wide shoulders that the standard configuration does make of it. And then, of course, the issues with mostly Swoop, it seems, that his legs do not tap together to make a very solid lower arm. But overall, the tolerances are pretty good. The articulation is very good. This joint, the back and forth on this joint, wish it was more ratcheted or more solid sounding. But I'm probably not going to post it. It's probably going to stay in a very similar post to this if they are in their combined form. But at the very least, the Dinobots, for the most part, do hide the fact they are capable of combining. So that is a very nice bonus. Grimlock obviously is the biggest sufferer because he's got a lot of problems with his dino back. But you can check my individuals out for opinions on that. But I do like Volcanicus. I am pleased he is added to the Combiner roster. And I'd like to see more of him outside of the Prime Wars cartoon, obviously, but I don't know if we're going to get that ever. But, it's nice. It's a nice gesture. Is it something they necessarily need to come back to? No. But is it nice that it exists? I think so, and I appreciate it. But that is all I have to say on a Volcanicus, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.